Wildfires are spreading in Atlantic Canada. In fact, 3 wildfires are now considered out of control in New Brunswick, with one burning on the outskirts of Moncton. In Newfoundland, firefighters are battling 4 uncontrolled fires. And while the flames are growing, so is controversy around the decision in Nova Scotia and New Brunswick to ban hiking and camping in forests. Joining us for a look at this story and more of what's happening in Ottawa is the Globe and Mail's Laura Stone. Good morning.
Good morning, Anne-Marie.
Let's talk about these bans in Nova Scotia and in New Brunswick. Listen, both premiers have come out sternly saying the provinces are like tinderboxes. We need to keep everybody out of the woods to keep everybody safe. But what's been the reaction from residents and campers so far?
Well, look, Anne-Marie, there's been quite a bit of backlash, particularly around Nova Scotia's decision to issue up to $25,000 fines for traipsing through the woods, walking your dogs, jogging. Of course, the premiers of these provinces, Tim Houston, Susan Holt, say this is absolutely necessary in order to prevent carnage, damage to homes, people being evacuated, millions of dollars of rebuilding that would be required if a fire was lit. I think what's really interesting about what's happening in Nova Scotia with the progressive Conservative premier is there's been a lot of backlash from the Conservative community saying, you know, this infringes on people's rights. This is far beyond the pale, and they're comparing it to the COVID era of restrictions and saying, you know, let's learn from those lessons about restricting people's rights. And we've also heard from civil liberties groups, too, that say this could be breaching charter rights. So a very interesting discussion kind of playing out right now over what the best method is to prevent these fires. Obviously, no one wants to see them lit or damage caused, but there is quite a bit of concern, I think, about among residents, but also people who don't even live in those provinces who are, I think, quite appalled by this measure and say that it really does impact people's quality of life.
I want to check in on another part of the country. That's the by-election happening in Battle River Crowfoot. It's less than a week to go now until voting day. Advance polls have just closed. What's the latest from the race there?
Well, look, Anne-Marie, all eyes are on Pierre Poilievre, the Conservative leader who's trying to regain his seat in the House of Commons after losing his Ottawa area seat. I think there's a few things to watch at this point. One, we have a historically long ballot in the riding, 214 candidates as a result of a protest group called the Longest Ballot Committee. And so Elections Canada has made the decision that people will be writing in their candidates' names. And so we'll see how that plays out on election night, whether this takes a very long time to count, whether there's any challenges as a result of the race. And of course, look, this is a Conservative stronghold. The previous MP, Davian Currick, won with 82% of the vote. If Pierre Poilievre does win this riding, which most are expecting that he will he reach that threshold? Will there be some sort of split to watch within the riding? Are any of these independent candidates going to garner support? So a lot is riding on this. And of course, Mr. Poilievre also has his leadership review in Alberta in January. And so everyone's kind of watching to see what kind of support he has within this province that he's now kind of adopted as his own. And of course, he's from there, but he had been representing an Ontario riding for the past 20 years.
If you like that video, make sure to subscribe to the Your Morning YouTube feed, where you can find all kinds of new content posted every weekday morning.